Hey, we're going to insert a joke here later because I can't think of anything right now.
Okay, sounds good.
Spoilers. I will not edit or insert a joke later.
Yeah, we all know.
That was the joke. Hey, welcome to Mob Rules. I'm John, joined as always by
Danny.
And it has been 2 weeks, which seems insane.
I know, it doesn't seem like 2 weeks at all.
It feels like I'm talking to you daily about podcasting.
Yeah, that's true. Well, I mean, but that's accurate. So
that is. But that's okay. We're actually recording now. So we're speaking using our electronic voices instead of our regular ones.
Or e-voice, if you will.
E-voice. Could be like an e-boy. My dog does not like that.
I'm an e-thought, John. Hey, man, I got to get these out, because, yeah.
Yep. Fuck me. Good. I love it. All right. So it's been 2 weeks. Danny, what have you been up to in the last 2 weeks?
Oh, God.
And nothing else.
Well, we did that excellent AdMech review.
We did that. It was a really good AdMech review. We got some really good feedback on it.
I think so, too. We've gotten a good amount of views, which is nice.
Yeah.
Lando approves.
Yeah, my dog. The role of Fred today will be played by my very angry basset hound.
He's really unhappy that I'm here, and he hasn't had time to bark at me for at least 10 minutes. And then... Let's see. So I've been doing that. I've actually been building some models.
Oh yeah, what you been building?
Let's see. I built.
Swear to God, if you say Skitari, I'm gonna just throw it on this microphone.
No. I'm doing a Skitari inventory tonight to see exactly what I have. I did just purchase 5 chickens. I was pretty happy about that. To make some laser gun chickens.
Oh, I thought you meant like actual chickens.
Oh no, John. I neither have the time nor inclination to raise livestock.
You could just go to your wife and be like, "Hey, I bought you 5 chickens. Here's a coop.
Set this shit up.
I want eggs by next week."
If there's no eggs, look, and I'm gonna hold up that prenup, and I'm gonna be like.
Part of your prenup is after 3 years of marriage, you have to raise
4 years now, John.
4?
Yeah, dude.
Holy cow, man! Look at me undervaluing you.
Yeah, 2017.
That's great. Was it that long ago,
dude? I know, it's crazy. So
my favorite part about your wedding is there's like one picture for me that's lived eternally, and
it's a great picture though.
It isn't a picture of me and my wife.
It's a picture of
me and my friend Josh looking like the happiest married couple.
You guys look so happy.
Yeah, we look really
happy.
We're so
together.
happy together.
Yeah. Were you tanked at that point in time? I mean, okay, that's cool. Yeah, dude. So
that was a real good spread. That's all I'm gonna say.
So like we got. I got this local. I bought 3 kegs for my wedding, right? And they were all locally brewed beer. One of them, though, was a Belgian.
Yes, and very good.
It's like I think it's 10%.
Oh, so, that explains a lot.
Yeah. So, but I didn't mark it, and people just got trashed at the wedding, like unintentionally, and. Yeah, that was so. I eventually put a sign on it, but it was too late. It was tapped out like very quickly.
By the way, you only realized it was tapped out by the fact you put a sign on it, and there was like a clang noise.
So 4 years. Anyway, as far as Warhammer goes,
Warhammer in 2021.
My mistress, for like 25 years. I built some. Oh God, what are those guys called? They are the Invader ATVs.
Oh yeah.
Yep. So I built the first one of those finally.
How many did you end up getting? 3?
I bought 3 because I wanted to use them for like Crusade or something like that for a more fun game. Like so, if I end up playing, Crusade someday.
We'll get around to it at some point.
I know.
We have all of like 6 weeks left.
Yeah, we've got 6 weeks. It's fine. And then I built those. I built a new librarian kind of halfway for my Dark Angels, a Primaris one. So I have a couple of conversions that I want to do. I want to so I cut off the vents on his backpack and I want to replace them with like flaming brazers, like like the artwork of the Dark Angels Librarian, which is like one of my very favorite pieces of artwork in 40K.
Gonna use a sister's kit for those braziers?
Yeah, I think I got a bunch of them. But for the braziers.
Gonna replace the front chest plate on there.
Yeah. He's gonna drive, or his rhino's gonna be called the Bang Bus.
Brother Luther, you've changed.
Sorry. I did that. I'm trying to think what else I've done. I got to watch an excellent game, but I'm going to let you talk about that.
Oh, that was not an excellent game.
No, it was excellent for me to see, like,
for sure,
some power.
Yeah. Yeah. So
what about you, John? What have you been up to?
Quite a bit. So I painted up my 2 contemptors, my 2 Volkite contemptors. I converted using parts from the bloat drone, which turned out super cool.
Dude, those look so awesome, man.
I'm like super happy with them. And then I ordered another bloat drone because I feel
nice.
2 flash mowers is a good place to be at.
Yeah,
in my backlog.
Great call.
And then the nice thing, I have so many bloat drone bodies from the various kits I picked up and Dark Imperium halves.
Yeah, you should be able to make something else with
then I'm gonna have 2 heavy Blight launchers.
Nice.
Which I think they're underrated.
Yeah, no, I think they're legit. I think those are a great choice. They're really good against like Drukhari and stuff like that.
Yeah, like
too.
they're a 6 shop, strength 6.
Mm-hmm.
If you manage to move them fast enough and move your buffs around, they can, -1 toughness and stuff. They're pretty good.
And they don't hit quite as hard as a normal Blight drone with a flesh mower.
Right.
But they
do it from further away.
Yeah, but in combat they still get 4 attacks at strength 6, I think, at -2 AP or -1 AP.
They're pretty gross.
Yeah, they're not bad.
So yeah, I ordered another one of those kits. Unfortunately, nowhere in town had them. Like I tried like Wasilla, Anchorage, everywhere was at. So eBay, I went.
Yeah, that's fair.
And then I, finished up a bunch more squad marks in 4 different colors, so I could just kind of generally go.
Nice.
And then I started working on my possessed. So I have like my Galvor back, where I just shaved off all of the word bearer imagery and books. And just started painting some of those up.
Nice.
Because I don't know if I'm going to use them anytime soon, but they're beautiful models.
It's just so hard it seems like it would be really hard to fit possessed into a Death Guard list.
Right. And so like I'm looking at I think they fit really well in Terminus Est.
I could see that.
Because you can deep strike them. And that's where their value is. Because like if you're taking them, I want to take a squad of 10.
Yeah.
And that means if I want to put them in a Rhino, I can't put any buffing characters with them, which they need something like that there.
Yeah.
So I think there's something there. I'm painting them up, really hoping in chapter approved I see a drop in Plague Marine points, so I can start spamming them out.
That would be really cool. I would love to see armies with more Plague Marines on the table. I think that it's criminal how often you don't see Plague
You don't
Marines.
really see them. Like all the top lists, all of the Bubonic Astartes slots are filled with Terminators.
Yeah. Well, it's just because they're so good comparatively, right?
Yeah. So I think a little points drop on those. I can spam them out. I have like 50 painted Plague Marines ready to go, so they're all.
That's awesome.
They're all real sad.
Yeah, you've got all the flails and stuff ready too. Like probably too many flails.
Now I have like 10 flails, but that's old edition.
Well, and one thing you could do too is just run units of 5 with a flail, right?
Yeah.
So,
so I worked on those there, and I think that was about it. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, but I did get in a game. After we did the AdMax review, after that was released later on that day, I played Taylor of Taylor.
Yep.
He came around with his AdMac and his taking the AdMac list, and holy shit, man, what a wake up call! So I lost horribly, which was a little weird feeling. It's been a while,
sure,
but at the same time, I think the good thing for me was. I made a lot of mistakes early on that compounded very quickly.
Sure, I can understand that.
So I picked the secondaries I usually take instead of maybe taking secondaries that I could more easily score against AdMac. And then this iteration of the list I was taking just had too many characters.
Sure.
Like
How many were there?
Far,
like
oh my god, it was ridiculous. Yeah, there was 7 characters. And there was only 10 Death Shroud in the list there. So, like, let me tell you what 20 Skitarii rapid firing at a squad of Death Shroud does.
Yeah, apparently.
Just wipes the squad.
Yeah, kill everybody, all but one of them, right?
All but one, who I used a command point reroll to get the armor save off so he survived because he was the guy with the Relic Plague Skull.
Oh, sure.
And I'm like, okay, I've already spent a command point on you for the skull. I'm going to spend another one to make sure I can use it.
And then he spent another 2 to make sure he didn't run away from morale, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. So it was rough, but again, it was like, I know what that place, and that next turn, that place called turned around and took out 9 Skitarii.
Yeah, and then, the skull took out 9.
Yeah.
Then he shot.
And that took out like 3 more. And then he charged them, and then they died.
Yep.
So,
and the sorcerer did a bunch of mortal wounds that was right there too.
Yeah.
That was cool.
Which was really using that Malignant Plaguecaster ability of just within 12 mortal wound on a castrol. I really love that power.
It's so cool. Yeah, what a great ability.
Like, just the little chipping damage of it is great. But yeah, I learned a lot. So one thing I learned is if you're playing against Lucius for AdMech, you need to screen your deployment zone.
Yeah.
I did not screen appropriately, which is why he was able to drop an entire unit in my back line to make those shots. I needed to make better use of cover. That's a great thing you brought up was instead of consolidating closer to my characters to kind of act as a shield for them, if I consolidated into cover, then I would have been saving on 3s instead of 4s for a lot of these shots.
Sure.
And
the characters could still consolidate and pile into to be within 3 of the Death Shroud.
Yeah.
Too, so helpfully protect
so like
them.
that was something. And then like when stuff started going south, I just kind of hyper focused on one thing instead of kind of taking a holistic look at everything there.
Sure.
Does not take away from Taylor. He played the game amazingly.
No. Yeah, he did a good job, especially with an army that he had no previous experience
Right,
with.
for sure. And again, like the majority of the sticks were on me. They're like I said, yes, they're very strong, they're very powerful. But I can think of at least 5 different things I did that cost me 45, 50 points. So, that's on me for that. I also have Volkite Contemptors. Gross.
Yeah, they're very good.
They're so good. I like them more into infantry, to be honest with you, with the Toll
Yeah,
Keeper.
sure. I think they're okay against light vehicles, but they're not going to like burn up the world or anything like that.
No. This was the first time in a long time I've run a Plague Burst Crawler. I love those.
They're pretty great.
They're pretty amazing just for like blocking or just random shots or throwing stuff out. My 2 Volkites took out 3 of those chickens in one turn.
Yeah.
Which is pretty good considering they were like -1 to hit, like in cover, so they were saving on 2s or whatever it was.
Yeah, well, they have those Doctrina and Paradises that they can do, so yeah.
So yeah, a lot of buffs. I would say if you guys are playing against AdMech, don't be afraid to ask for clarification on what is causing this buff. Right. What is causing this aura? Because one of those units, the main unit that Taylor used to kind of just wipe out my Death Shroud, had about 8 or 9 buffs stacked on him.
Yeah, and I think and I think it is important to like make sure you know exactly where each buff is coming from and what rule is coming from where.
Yeah,
just to make sure, because Taylor was even getting confused a little bit just with the sheer amount of different buffs that you can do, and all the auras and buffs and stuff like that for like the Manipulus, that really changed. Like a bunch of things have changed depending on from this book from the previous book to this book. So it's totally okay to double check and make sure you know exactly which unit everything's going on. I really think AdMech players need to have tokens.
So many tokens.
Yeah.
To the point where I'm going to be taking miniature tokens with me to tournaments. Like, would you like to use this to keep a track of your stuff?
Yeah, if they don't have them, that's like something you can pull out of your back pocket.
There's really not that many people. Like, there's a few people I'm like, okay, I trust that that's what it does. But if you're showing up to a random tournament and you have this person telling you that there's like 8 or 9 different things that this unit does, like I need visuals to see how that's possible.
Right.
In saying that, they're good. And I know people are going to make fun of me for saying this, but adapt. It's
it's
adaption time, right?
Well, and I think it's important that people take like a holistic look at stuff and not get too hyper focused on these combinations. I think that, like I was saying, I think we were having a conversation about this on a Discord, and some people are conflating like some of the different buffs that you can put on one unit, and then they're like, okay, they have all of these offensive buffs, but like, some of the buffs that are mentioned are specifically for one Forge World or another. Mm-hmm. And so some of the Forge Worlds that increase the damage don't increase the toughness and vice versa, right?
Right.
So, yeah, our Skitari that are from Lucius, like, are they vicious for shooting? Absolutely. Like, nobody is disagreeing with that. But they can only be vicious for shooting after turn 2. They can be really tough all the time because of the way that their rules work. Like their warlord trait is the transhuman that you can put on a unit, which is really amazing. They have, there's another one of the holy orders that you can do that give them ignore AP -1 and -2, which is also very good. And they get a +1 armor save against damage 1 weapons. So yeah, they have a lot of rules that increase their toughness, but they're not getting mortal wounds from Mars. They're not getting like the increased radium rounds from Metallica. They're not getting the other radium buff that you can get from the custom Forge World. So just keep that stuff in mind. Like, yeah, they're gross. They're really gross, and they do so much damage. Like, you've seen the Goonhammer article with like the graph, right? And so, like, even the best unit though, like firing full out, on average does like there's a 40% chance to kill Mortarion, which is a good chance, right?
But in order to do that, you're having to use 800 to 900 points worth of options, right?
I think it's going to be like 3 different characters. It's going to cost you several command points at the start before the game, plus the squad. It's like before the game, so plus the squad itself, plus a command point for the stratagem, plus they're shooting at like a monster, which is like, you're not seeing that many monsters which are that vicious, or like that tough, like Mortarion is very often. Mm-hmm. And so, yeah, they might be able to split fire and kill some monsters, but man, vehicles are immune to a lot of their shenanigans. They don't nearly do as much damage to vehicles. So that's just something to keep in mind. Yeah, will they murder a monster? Oh, for sure. They're going to kill it.
Yeah.
But, well, at least they'll have a 40% chance to kill the toughest monster in the game, right?
And like I said, they are great and they are good. But I mean, like after playing like that army, like I'm like, okay, so I need speed on my list here because now I realize like I need to get in combat with these guys as soon as possible.
Right.
So yeah, it's just me having to change what I'm doing a little bit.
For sure. And if you have the ability to like lock them in, somehow with the stratagem or a relic or something like that, being able to do that is huge. Because they do have several different, Admech do have a couple of different ways of falling back and shooting. Mm-hmm. And so keep that in mind. Also, like model removing, so that you can remove models out of coherency, so that you can wipe out guys that are surrounded in the morale phase. That's pretty big too.
Yeah. Big plays, big tricks. Hey,
figure it out though. Yeah. And like I would say, yeah, they seem very strong. I'm very interested to see what the numbers look like at tournaments. Mm-hmm. But like, I don't want to make any kind of value judgments without it having any kind of data driven like results.
I would have just used pure emotion. Yeah. They're overpowered. They beat me in one game.
The first time I played against them with having like no frame of reference.
I literally had just read the book the night before on camera.
Mm-hmm.
I had no frame of reference, but I did win a tournament a couple of weeks prior to that. So I feel like playing against a new army I had no idea about. When I make poor choices for secondaries, I should have done way better.
I think so. Here's the problem, John. You weren't underwater. You weren't able to submarine Taylor.
That's fair.
You were out of your home environment,
which is turned into like this bizarre argument today between me and Taylor.
He had like this whole like flow chart of how this next tournament is gonna go.
We're talking about, so we have a tournament coming up here on the 19th of June. And I made a joke that I couldn't submarine Danny because Danny's not going to be here for that one. But I was going to submarine like the fuck out of Taylor so I didn't have to face his admag. He said he was like inescapable. So I just started calling him like a fool and an absolute buffoon, and how I was going to score like 45 points.
You're gonna win with a 45 point victory.
Yeah. Oh, well, I told them
love
it was like your list guarantees 1,003 points, whereas mine only guarantees 45 to 55.
An average 45 points.
Yeah, like perfect. Yeah. And then I was like, man, I wonder, and we're just gonna segue this whole time here. What?
Who needs commercial breaks?
Heck no. What is the lowest combined score you think you could end a day with winning 3 games? Not necessarily the tournament, but what would your lowest score be that you think you could still win a game at?
Like win the tournament?
Oh God, no! You're not going to do that with low scores. Yeah,
sure. Okay. Well, if there's 2 undefeated people, then no. But like, I think I could win a game with 60 points.
I think you could go sub 50.
I would be really surprised. I don't know. I don't think that way. It would be a mind trip. I don't know. I'd really have to think about how I was going to do it and like not score as many points. I'm just like, you know me. I just go like balls out all the time and like
seal clubbing left and right.
Well, yeah. I'm trying to collect those pelts, John. So, but I've been dicked because I haven't gotten many points before, and like
that last tournament that we went to.
Oh, God damn it! We got the same fucking points, man. But yeah, 60 points I think is
60.
Yeah, I think I don't know if I could still pull off victories convincingly with less.
I'm not asking convincingly. I'm just saying sub 50.
Well, I don't want to. So the problem is, John, I don't want to try and cut it that close in case the dice go really badly one way or the other.
No, see, you're just edging. This is 40K edging. It's going to be sub 50, and then that thrill of the victory, because every dice roll matters then, because you've screwed yourself out of so many points.
Bro, I'm not into edging.
It's false. That's false. If the last couple months is anything to go by. Oh man, so many internal jokes.
That was a callback.
So many callbacks. Love it. So we're gonna take a quick break, and then we're gonna come back for some salt, which is always welcome.
Do you like cookies but want something more British? Buy biscuits, not like those you have for gravy. British biscuits for dunking in your British tea. Stiff upper lip guaranteed. Biscuits, as recommended by Queen Liz of the Britons.
Thanks, Gav. I myself enjoy Yorkshire. Oh no, here's a Yorkshire Gold. I think I drink. That's my tea brand.
Oh, is that your tea brand?
Oh heck yeah.
Are you a tea drinker?
I am.
Okay, cool.
I drink coffee at work all the time. So whenever I go home, I just throw a bag of there and just warm that bad boy up.
You're such a stereotype.
I really am. Don't have a tea cozy though. So.
Oh, just you have a beer cozy?
Heck yeah. You mean a Met gun? This entire episode. Just references to stuff in the past. Though, speaking of references to other things, I did listen to 40K Jason again today.
Oh, yeah.
And I instantly messaged Peter the Falcon Clismo to tell him he had trash opinions on oat milk. And he should feel ashamed of himself.
Do you like oat milk?
I do like oat milk.
I don't think I've tried oat milk, to be fair.
It's all the non-flavor of milk. So like all the other...
First of all, milk has a very distinctive flavor.
All the other alternative milks are lightly sweetened.
Yeah.
Oat milk is not. So it's more
interesting.
It's more akin to milk.
Grainy.
It's not actually oats. Like they milk, like they take the little oat tea and they milk it, and that's where oat milk comes from. It's when you guys to know listening that I'm making little finger motions.
Yeah, John is doing like a Meet the Fockers kind of a thing right now. I don't know what he's doing. It's kind of disturbing.
It is.
So why? All right. First of all,
yeah,
oats are not an animal.
No,
thus they do not.
Last I checked,
they do not have teats,
but they are living. And living
old.
Things do have teats.
I don't think you can make... Sure. Okay, cool, John. Yep, oak teats. Got it. They milk them? Yeah, cool. Great.
I told Falcon it was those hardworking Canadian immigrants milking with their tiny hands, milking the teats of American oats.
The beefy chap nipples. of American Oats.
Please bear in mind, I sent him this message at like 7 a.m. Alaska time this morning. Good times. Less good times, though. We got some salt brought to you by Morton's.
Oh, man.
Some stuff we want to unload.
I've been seeing some real hate towards AdMech on the internet.
Yeah.
And so granted, like, some of the complaints about GW are pretty fair.
Sure.
And like, they're justified. Like, I think that I had some conversations with some people, and I think it's okay for people in charge of this game to admit when they've done something wrong, right?
Sure.
And like, this was a point that was brought up to me, and I thought it was very good. It's okay for GW to admit when it's wrong, and like they've designed something that's not working quite like they intended it to. And it's okay for them to make some changes to things that make the game not fun for other people. That being said, for people to just go on a giant like tirade and rant about how awful something is for the game, like, is ridiculous. Like, without, and again, like I mentioned a little bit earlier in the episode, right? Without any kind of like real, like, it's pure emotion. Like, yeah, we know it looks bad on paper, like, or it doesn't look good on paper, right? We don't know it looks bad, to be honest.
Yeah.
And I want to see it played out. Like, is there a meta that's capable of dealing with? Are there armies that people are bringing to like counter this stuff? Like, for instance, we have this Ultramarines list that John Lennon and Colin Sherman have run now at a couple of GTs and won.
Right.
Now, granted, Sherman didn't have to play into any Drukhari, but Lennon did, and he managed to win. And not to say that Drukhari don't have a great win rate, and the win rate is probably not great for the game in general.
69.2.
Nice.
I remember that only because
only because it was 69%.
It was 69.2. Yeah.
But I think it's okay for people to like take a step back, and like these 4 week long FAQs where they give 4 weeks until they feel like they can quote unquote find the problems, but then they don't find the problems. Like, there are things that need to be addressed. But again, like, we haven't gotten to that place with AdMech yet. I feel like
No.
we can all see stuff that's very good in this book, right?
Right. And it was like, even the 4-week window with the FAQs, like, the main concerns for Drukhari weren't touched.
No, exactly.
And even we go back to the Death Guard FAQ, it didn't address any, like, it didn't clarify Tallyman. Is that every
right
player turn, or is it everybody? You know, like, didn't clarify a lot of that stuff there, but just made an inexorable advance worse.
Yeah, for like some reason they've decided that was the thing that they needed to touch on, which is so stupid. Like, I don't know what
Death Guard were lighting the world up because they could walk across a crater. Trust me, they weren't. And to your point, we're starting to see these counter lists, like this Ultramarine list with all of the dreadnoughts. Chaos groupie leader Don Husin brought that really like off-kilter Death Guard list,
which went 4-1,
which went
really big grand tournament, like a GT.
Yeah,
Dallas
Open.
Major. It was a major, yeah.
Which had no objective secured. It was just like 6 Melta-Guns. And it did really good. And again, we're starting to see these weird lists come out. And like, I think for me, like, I look at the Ultramarine list, and that one makes a little bit more sense to me, but still weird considering how we've played Ninth so far. And the same thing with that Death Guard list, right? Where it's like, from what we know of Ninth and how Ninth has been played, it's real weird.
It is.
But they're winning, right? So what that tells me is maybe I'm playing Ninth wrong, or my idea of what Ninth is might be wrong, or it might need to evolve a little bit past it.
I mean, maybe, but I don't know. I don't think that's true.
What's that might? I really cover my ass on that out there.
Fair point.
And then I think really like looking at these past couple of releases, the weird thing is like Drukhari, you want to have maybe a table with a little less terrain so you can maybe deal with them a little easier. But then,
so maybe these super heavy dense boards that we've been playing on are not the best for those kinds of.
But then with AdMech, I want that super heavy dense board.
True. So there's got to be a happy medium there that we can find.
So, and it just, because ninth is the weird COVID edition,
Right.
where there's not been a whole bunch of super majors. Like, I think LVO is going to be the first super major, like your 1,000-person plus event.
Do you think they'll get more people than they did in 2020?
I think so.
Yeah, I don't know.
There's a, and again, it's weird, right? So there's a desire for normalcy right now, where like, man, maybe I won't get the chance to go to this super major. I got to do it while I can.
Right.
As my kid's phone goes off too. Man, what a great day. But yeah, there's just this call for normalcy. And then Danny, if you want to take on from that while I do
that's
this here.
fine.
Yeah, cool.
Yep. So, like John said, a call for normalcy. I think that was the word he was trying to use. No, he wasn't. He told me that I was full of shit. I needed to die in a fire. He's such a great co-host. Anyway, so I think people just want to get back to normal, like John was saying. Like, they want to just play in their big events, and like I think that there are some issues with the game right now, and I think like the release window is screwed up. I think the meta isn't having quite the same churn as you would normally expect. And but like, you need to see the data before you start bitching about this stuff.
Yeah. Well, I think my concern right now is we're almost at the time where the reactions of the player base and the perceived meta are going to start affecting attendance again.
Yeah, that's fair.
So we're at this weird point where everyone can't wait to go to tournaments and super majors because they've been locked inside for however long and they haven't had the option to do that. But then when they start going and they're getting their face smashed in because they haven't been outside or played in a year and a half,
right,
and they're coming up against Drakari and Admech, who if you, I think two, not net listable armies, but if you kind of understand the workings of them,
yeah,
you can make it work pretty well. Then that's going to really kind of cause an issue.
Yeah. Yeah, no, and that's really true. I'm probably going to pick up an Admech army, though, to be fair.
Yeah, because, I mean, they're real good.
Yeah. So, well, I mean, when I say pick up an Admech army,
Gonna complete the Admech army.
I'm gonna use the Admech army I already have and play with that for a minute and see if I enjoy it. If I don't, then I'll try something else.
Fingers crossed.
Yeah.
But I guess to just surmise, just wait and see.
Yeah, and I think it's important just to give it a minute and see if the meta does react to it in a way that's positive, and it doesn't just become like an Admech versus Drukhari like show, which I don't think it will. So many people play other armies. Even when Space Marines had total dominance, it's not like 40% of the armies were Space Marines or anything like that, was it?
Yeah, they were.
Oh, okay.
LVO 2019 or 2020.
No, it wasn't 40%.
Iron Hands year?
Yeah, I don't think it was 40.
It's
I think
pretty
it was
high.
No, to be fair, I didn't play against any Marines that year.
I played against 3. Which I guess
So
goes
for
to show
you
that
was
the skilled players managed to avoid Marines.
Well, I don't know. I didn't.
And
do
then
that correct.
pushed them down to the lowly knees.
Why didn't push any down to you, John?
Thank you.
You're welcome.
I guess. But yeah, no one's here to correct me on that fact. It was 40% Marines. No,
Cool.
no one else.
We'll just go with it.
We'll go with it.
I'm sure Peter will tell me if he ever listened to podcasts.
I want to complain about something.
Yeah, cool.
So the big hubbub around the internets right now, it's certain content creators receiving early copies of things.
Oh, yeah. No, I get that.
If you believe that the only reason that the content creators you're mad at are winning events is because they get a book a week and a half early, or maybe even a day and a half early.
In our case,
because we're
now, granted, we're
lowly.
not burning it up over here, but you know what I mean.
Yeah. If you think that's the only reason they're winning, you're insane.
Yeah, Jesus Christ! Come on, you guys.
If you were like, man, I could beat that John Nanavati or Richard Lennon, if only they didn't have advance notice of this extra 72 hours with this book.
Yeah, and so I get that, right? Now, the complaint that playtesters playing in events is like a little lame, I do agree with that.
Yeah, I would agree.
So,
but at the same time, that's a really hard balancing act. This is grievances episode at this point here, like
yeah,
point counterpoint.
Man, sorry, we're not trying to be super salty. We're normally not like
No,
this,
but we're point counterpointing right now.
And speaking of people getting advance notice of things and then complaining about it, like, all right, so I have had a couple of people say something to me like about how I said that like this AdMac book wasn't broken or anything. Like, look, guys, like I have less than 24 hours to review these books, like, and look at them before we have to make a video. Like you get them on Thursday evening.
Sometimes
we get them on Friday.
And then we have to disseminate, edit, and upload by 2 a.m. our time.
Right. So,
and then just a little inside baseball here. I was up until 3:30 in the morning uploading the AdMac video.
I know, dude.
So yeah.
Thank you for that.
No, it's all good. It's all part of, I mean, if I want to have this benefit to win with an army I don't own, I got to really push that content out there.
Yeah.
But yeah, point counterpoint. In order for the game to be balanced, it has to be play tested.
Right.
And for the playtesting to be effective, it has to be good players playtesting.
I agree. Like, but at the same time, there is a significant advantage to like those people having access to the rules. So they're going to like in a lot of situations, they're going to continue to be the people that are winning games.
No, what would be interesting and more fair is if there was 2 or 3 versions of the rules. And one was sent to each different pod. So say Trap House in Florida gets rule A.
Some A/B testing.
Yeah. Someone gets rule B. And then that way, sure, some people are, but you don't know if that's going to be the final set of the rules. You're just sending back data.
I don't know. I don't think that's, I don't know if, but then how would you get meaningful like consensus on things?
It's not like they pay attention to it right now anyway.
We don't know that.
We can saltily assume, which is all I'm doing.
By the way, thanks Games Workshop for sending us
reviews.
Review copies of books. We're happy with those. And we would
really
like to keep
appreciate those.
them.
Yeah, thank you. Really appreciate that thing. But yeah, there's a lot of pent up rage right now on the internet in general towards 40K and new releases and stuff in general.
Yeah,
some of us understood that fallen rules are not good.
Yeah, John and I were looking at his White Dwarf today.
I just got my White Dwarf subscription in today, and I'm like,
yikes.
Ooh, 1 strength dash sword. What a relic.
And a specialist attachment that I can't use.
Yeah, heck yeah. Dude,
I'm
gonna forge so many narratives with Fallen.
All right, I'm trying not to be salty, but I was really excited about Fallen Rules, and these were pretty disappointing.
It was just pretty much copy paste from
Vigilus. Yeah. So, including the specialist attachment, which means I couldn't even bring it to an event if I wanted to.
No,
which is
just challenge people. Be like, I can, but
nobody wants to play me. Nobody wants to play against Fallen.
Because they're so overpowered. Still the best way to bring a Death X and Warp Time to your Loyalist Space Marine list.
It's true.
All right, we're going to actually switch over to Innis. And then after that, we will be right back.
Hello everybody and welcome back to Lo-Fi Beats to Get Good To. I'm Innes Wilson, and this week we are going to be talking about something that's slightly higher level than what I've been doing recently. I've been doing a lot of ways to take game theory and how to apply it to your own personal development and your own ways of thinking about 40k. This week I'm going to be talking about something that's just of interest to me, and that is what actually are first and second turn advantage and how some aspects of the game can change that. So to begin, we have to define the terms that we're dealing with. So first turn advantage is the things that the player who is taking the first turn generally gets to do better than the person going second. So for me, those are, you get positioning advantages, you get the ability to open fire, downrange, and start taking your opponent's models off the board faster, you get the first touch on being stood places, the first touch at doing secondaries, anything like that you want to get off the ground on. Second turn advantage, on the other hand, is much more reactionary. So in 9th edition, you're going to get access to... Your opponent will have to expose themselves to some degree in order to come out to get you, whether that's positioning for objectives or doing anything like that. You get the last touch on objectives, so you get the battle round 5 end of game objective scoring. You also get anything that's end of battle round based, you have much more control over, so anything like grind them down, which is a secondary where the player who kills more in the battle round, if you're going second, you always know exactly how much you need to kill to score your points or to deny your opponent, so you don't have to do any guesswork with that. So, broadly, first and second turn both have different advantages, different benefits, and different drawbacks, in that they are going to be weaker at some of those things. Second turn, you're going to have to deal with your game plan will be interrupted a little bit more. Your opponent will get to be on the board faster, so if it's a mission like Vital Intelligence, where your opponent can start scoring objectives and then move off them and keep pressuring you that way, you might struggle to keep up in the tempo of the game. That's just the way it is with 40k, and it's just something you have to deal with as a 40k player. There is never going to be perfectly balanced in terms of which advantages are best right now. There will always be one of the two that is probably slightly better. We've seen it when second turn advantage is better, we've seen it when first turn advantage is better. Generally people like it a lot less when first turn advantage is better because you just get shot off the board. That's not really here nor there. So what I wanted to talk about specifically with that is how some factors can really mitigate those advantages and why you should be thinking about them when you're building tables, when you're playing games. So one big advantage of going first is that you get to generally shoot your opponent first or charge your opponent first. And if you build an elite list or you build a table with a lot of terrain where you're able to really hide most of your army, first turn actually loses that advantage, and then it gets shifted over to the second player a little bit because the first turn player still has to expose themselves. They still have to move on to objectives during their first turn, potentially. Some missions, not necessarily quite as much. But then that gives the first touch, the first opportunity to shoot, shift over to the second player, and they're going to get 5 turns of shooting, and the player going first is only going to get 1, or is going to get 1 less, so they'll get 4. And that just means that when you're building a table, you need to make sure that if your players are able to hide their entire army, there's other advantage to going second. So generally, if you have a board where it's very easy to hide all of the objectives or to hide all of your army in the deployment zone, some of the midfield objectives probably need to be obscured as well, so that the first turn player can actually get onto them without exposing themselves. Obviously, indirect shooting can change that math as well, so that then shifts it a little back to the first turn advantage. And in indirect versus indirect, generally the person who gets the first touch wins that fight regardless, just because they get to do damage. Another thing to consider is that very dense midfield terrain generally favours the second turn player because they get to move up into the area where the first turn player had to contest, and then they get to go out again, and they get to just keep fighting on their own terms. You get to dictate engagements because you know where your opponent's models are before you take your first turn, so you get to move reactionarily. You can stay out of threat ranges and make it so that if they continue to push up the board, you always get the first jump. So it's a lot of really difficult to quantify high level stuff there. That it's just something to be considering when you're building tables, when you're building lists, is that you need to have ways to capitalize on first turn, you need to find ways to capitalize on second turn, and that terrain can always change that math. So knowing what terrain you're expecting to be going into when you go into a 40k tournament is very important. Always ask for pictures if you can. If you've been to the venue before, you'll probably know exactly what it's going to be. So make sure you're doing that because it will determine some of the ways that you can build lists. So just as an example, for London Grand Tournament in September, I'm expecting the terrain in deployment zones to be very heavy and not actually very possible to get stuff like knights out of deployment zones. So I'm not really planning for knights, and I'm not really planning to bring any big models that can't move through ruins. So the Great and Clean one that I'm painting at the moment, probably not going to be coming out to play. Okay, thank you everybody for tuning in to another episode. I know you don't have a choice.
Well,
I'm in between
that was
the
abrupt.
tones of Danny and John.
Thanks, Innes.
Thanks, yeah. That was some really good stuff right there.
Yeah, no kidding. Pay attention to those first turn and second turn advantages.
It's crazy, and it is super mission specific for a lot of them there too.
Yeah, it matters.
Unless you're Danny, where you always just go second.
I don't know. I like to go second.
I wanted to share something with you from this month's White Dwarf.
Oh, okay, cool.
In the Metallica, it's the Metallican system.
Oh, okay.
One of the planets is called
I hate Skinopolis.
Solari Anchorage.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Well, do you know what an anchorage is, right?
It's a naval base of operations.
It could be.
Well, that's what it says in the page here.
Okay, well, a real anchorage is a place where you can anchor a ship up. Like it's a place where you can be safe from storms and stuff.
That make they named this town that. Okay. Good times.
Cook Inlet's probably not a terrible place.
Oh, I meant the town itself. Like very dangerous.
It's very dangerous town.
Very dangerous town. What we really wanted to sort of talk about today was chapter approved. Oh, the shiny, fancy new chapter approved.
We're talking about chapter approved 2020. We're going back a year. We're doing retro style.
Retro style, because it has been now over a year, right? Of chapter approved. Wasn't it December it came out?
No, it came out in summertime. It came out when, maybe it was. I don't know. Whatever. It was around then. Sure.
It's been a while. But yeah, when we got the book, we were super impressed by the fact it had like the full rule set in it. And then, yeah, it had everything you needed to play, apparently, the official GT, because it's the mission pack for Grand Tournament.
Nice.
And I remember being very excited about that, like just that phrasing and terminology. So yeah, let's take a look at some of the secondaries, the generic, everybody's secondaries from Chapter Approved. Starting off with Battlefield Supremacy.
Oh, sure. Man, so this is a category that actually has more than one good secondary.
Yeah. So the ones they had here were Engage in All Fronts, Linebreaker, Domination.
Yeah.
So yeah, Engage was just you score 2 victory points at the end of your turn if you have 1 or more units from your army wholly within 3 table quarters, and 3 if you were in 4 table quarters.
Right. And so yeah. So Domination or Engage on All Fronts, right, is a great secondary. You see that a lot for people with faster armies.
Yeah.
They end up taking that one. It's really important to try and score this at least 2 points on the first turn if you can.
For sure.
Otherwise, you're really giving up a lot of points on this one.
So, like, really asking yourself, and that's a trap I ran into, and something I noticed because I try and take Engage a lot, and I have a pretty slow moving army.
Right.
Able to mitigate a little bit through some shenanigans. But again, yeah, if you're not scoring 2 in that first one, so this is like a maximum 15 points you get from this mission. So every turn you're not scoring, your total secondaries drop by a lot.
Right. I mean, yeah, it's 3 points a turn.
Yeah.
Since it's kind of a progressive scoring secondary. Linebreaker. Do you want to keep talking about Engage?
It's great. Engage. If I'm stuck, Engage.
Yeah, and that's kind of one that I go to if I have to.
Yeah.
It's kind of like it's better than a lot of other ones for sure.
Yeah. Linebreaker. I got to be honest with you. I've never taken this one.
I think it's good for some armies. Like, I think it's pretty good for things like Gene Stealer Cult. But Engage on All Fronts is probably just as easy for them to do. It's just Linebreaker is faster.
Yeah, so just like, Linebreaker score 4 victory points at the end of your turn if 2 or more units from your army are wholly within your opponent's deployment zone.
Right.
So really you have to get that firing turn 2.
Right, exactly.
So really when you're looking at this, ask yourself, can you get 2 units 30 inches across the table in 2 turns?
I mean,
and if you can, great. I mean, there's lots of great armies that can do that.
But this is one that's easy to screen out against a little bit.
Right, for sure.
So you just have to really consider that.
And then finally, a favorite of yours, Danny.
I really like Domination.
Domination.
So if I'm on objectives, first of all, this is scored at the end of your turn, not the end of the battle round. So you don't have to stay on the objectives. Like if you feel like you're just going to get wiped off, that's okay. Well, it might not be okay, but it's okay for scoring purposes anyway. And so this requires you to hold more than half the objectives on the table. So this is one that I tend to take on 5 objective missions only. Like 6 objectives is too many, like because I have to hold 4 objectives, and that's very difficult.
Yeah.
And then 4 objective missions means I have to hold 3/4 of all the objectives on the table, which is like also very difficult.
Yes. No, thank you.
Yeah. So, but on 5 objective missions, which there are a lot of missions that are 5 objectives, I take this one a lot.
So what would you say? Would you say Domination would probably be your favorite Battlefield Supremacy?
Yeah, usually.
Yeah.
Because if I'm holding objectives, I'm winning anyway, right?
Yeah. It's just more free points.
Mm-hmm.
And it really fits your playstyle.
It does. And what about you, John? What's your favorite? Would you like Engage?
I like Engage just because,
that's
like I said, it's
I would say that's probably a more popular choice.
my favorite objectives are the ones where I don't have to rely on dice.
Oh yeah, for sure.
So Engage for me is good because if I'm playing a build which has that sort of speed, then I don't have to worry about my opponent making all his saves or me missing a whole bunch of things.
Exactly.
So I don't care if I die. Like I get those points for just existing.
I just get points.
Yeah. So I think that's why I like Engage in Offense more. And then also with Linebreaker, you're right. I mean, the best way to get in there is to try and do some weird reserve thing or kind of calm down.
Mm-hmm.
But again, if your opponent knows you've taken Linebreaker and sees you have 2 units in reserve, they should be screening out their deployment zone pretty well.
Absolutely, yeah.
So it's easier to counter than Engage.
I agree.
Because Engage, I'm going to score 2 points. You might stop me from getting 3, but I will score at least 2.
You're definitely going to get 2, yeah.
No Mercy, No Respite. Who came up with these names? They're great. I don't
Yeah.
even know why that's a category.
That should be a secondary objective.
That should be. So we have Thin the Ranks. If you select this objective, you keep a tally of kill points. And you add to your kill point tally. And then you divide the total wounds you cause pretty much at the end of the battle by 10. Those are the secondary points you have.
And then a model that counts that's 10 or more wounds does count as
the wound count, right? Or is it? Yeah.
No, it counts as you get a point.
Oh,
I think the way that you're reading it is a little bit different than it's actually worded.
you add 10 to the tally instead of this model that was just had a wounds characteristic of 10 or more.
Right.
So yeah, so like your 15, 20 would just be 10, but it's still something.
Yep, it totally doesn't count as 1, which is good.
Yeah.
And then we've got Grind Them Down. Grind Them Down is killing more at the end of the battle round. If you've killed more enemy units than they killed of yours, you get what is that, 3 points for that?
Yep. And then while we stand, we fight. You pick your 3 most expensive units.
Yep.
Thank you, FAQ.
Yep.
And then you get 5 points at the end of the battle for each one of those left alive.
So I've definitely taken all 3 of these on numerous occasions.
For sure. I think this is a much easier category to pick from.
Yeah, I agree.
Because you can say Thin the Ranks, you can see if something has like 100 models. I think 10 points is a really good aim for that one. If I know I can get 10 points out of that one, it's a pretty good choice for that there. And especially when you have things like a Rhino, you're going to get the wounds for that. It's not like the old school ITC models. It's pretty much wound count up to 10 for a model. So it's a nice one to score.
For sure. Yeah, and I've usually against horde armies, of course.
Yeah.
And then if they have some like transports or vehicles or something like that, even better. Then I'm gonna get a few extra points out of that one. And those killing those do stack with Bring It Down.
Yep.
Which is nice as well. We'll get to that one in purge the enemy category. And then wait, sorry. So Grind Them Down. I was talking about Thin Their Ranks. Sorry. Grind Them Down. Really great against MSU armies.
Yep.
So if your opponent has a lot of little units and you think that you can kill them, or if your units are really tough, it's a good one for that too. And then while we stand, we fight. If you have like some Death Stars,
for my last couple build, my Terminus Ass build, while we stand, we fight was just perfection. Nice.
And I take it with my Dark Angels every game. My Dark Angels army is specifically built to take this secondary every game.
Because if you can have that unit survive, that's an easy 15 points.
Right.
To the point where like I was doing weird stuff. Like I had one of my units of Death Shroud, I was killed down to one guy with 1 wound. Mm-hmm. So he spent the rest of the battle running away and hiding in a ruin.
Yep.
Because it doesn't matter that my opponent did 14 wounds to the squad. Because that one guy had 1 wound, it's fine. I got my 5 points for it.
Yep, totally. And I have never not scored 10 on this, at least 10 on this secondary every single time I play with my Dark Angels.
Yeah, just be sure you have something tough.
Yeah, and so one thing too, if your unit splits into multiple units, like if you have combat squad, your opponent has to kill both units in order to get the 5 points for this.
And that worked for the Custodians as well.
Yeah, it works for Unleash the Lions on the Alaris. Mm-hmm. Real annoying. So they're probably going to get 5 points out of that unit just because it's going to be really tough to get rid of all of them.
Yeah.
So all these are great choices.
Yeah, there's not a bad one in that category.
No.
But they're all very dependent. I mean, the first two, like the Thin the Ranks, grind them down, very dependent on what your opponent brings.
Yeah, grind them down is dependent on your army too, because I take that one with Necrons a lot.
Well, we fight, you have to sort of build for.
Yeah. Yep, agreed.
So don't take that one as a random one. Well, don't take it at all because there's a new book coming.
Well, yeah, we can see how that changed.
Yeah.
So purge the enemy.
I'm just choking out of happiness.
Not like you normally do in game. Just kidding.
I laugh because it's true. So we have Titan Hunter, bring it down, cut off the head, and assassinate. And I'm going to be real honest with you here, Danny. I forgot cut off the head was an objective.
Yeah, it's really bad. Don't take that one, guys. That's the one where if you kill their general, depending on the warlord, depending on what turn you kill him, you get points.
Yeah, so yeah, if you kill their warlord turn 1, you get 13, 2, 10. Round 3, 6 points. Round 4, 3 points. Round 5, 1 point.
So if your opponent has something like Magnus or Mortarion or a knight that they cannot hide, and you have the firepower that you can almost certainly kill it.
6 last chickens and a bunch of Skitari.
And a ton of Skitari. Yeah, that's probably a pretty good one for them to take.
Yeah.
But
but for most of us plebeians,
for the normal plebes,
if you can 100% kill it in one turn, great.
Dude, that's spicy. But let's talk about real ones. So we have
ones that people actually take.
Titan Hunter. I end up taking this one against people with super heavies all the time, actually.
Yeah. Like even if it's just like one super heavy?
Even if it's just one. It depends on how hard their army is to kill. Like, so because I feel like if I concentrate on a super heavy, I will kill it.
Mm-hmm.
And so I end up taking this one if I don't have any other good options. For example, the last time I played against Wallace at the RGT that we played at recently, I took this. And the reason that I took this is like I didn't want to take Assassinate because I wasn't sure I was going to kill all the birds.
Mm-hmm.
Because if he had like decided, well, he's going to get 3 more points and I don't want him to do that, I'm going to fly this chicken all the way across the table and he's never going to be able to catch me. And it's like, okay, well, I can't really do anything about that. I guess I'll just not get, I'll get like 8 points or 6 points or 9 points maybe. And Assassinate is, of course, every character you kill, you get 3 points, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. But I do take this against armies where I feel like I'm going to win anyway.
Mm-hmm.
So
if Danny takes Titan Hunter against you, it's
sorry. No, I was taking this past Assassinate.
Oh.
A Titan Hunter, if they have a bunch of super heavies, you take it every game.
Yeah. Like, so like an Imperial Knight list, it's a gimme.
Depending on how many armigers they have, or war dogs.
Yeah, the even just killing one thing for 10 victory points, like 10 is a really good point total.
Yeah, people take scramblers all the time.
Yeah, just for 10 points. All you got to do is kill a Baneblade.
Yeah, easy peasy, right?
Yeah.
Bring it down. No, this one they did just change. So it's any monster or vehicle unit that you kill, you get 1 point. If it has more than 10 wounds, you get 2 points. Oh, it's 12 or more wounds, right?
11.
Oh no! Did
they change that too?
They did change it.
We're just gonna say 12. No one's fact.
Yeah, I think it's 12. It doesn't matter. It's changing. It's probably gonna change anyway. You get 2 points, and then if it has like more than 16 wounds, I think, or 18 wounds, it's 3 points. I don't remember what the breakoffs are, to be honest. Which is fine.
They were adjusted because this original one here was way too
so easy. It was so easy.
It used to be like 2 points for a basic monster or vehicle and 3 points if it had 10 or more wounds. And like, I legitimately, my list stopped taking a lot of vehicles and transports and things because
of it.
Because it would just, okay, you're going to max out. You're going to take this. And honestly, I mean, I took it against Taylor the weekend. That's where I scored the majority of my points. Just because I can pop low, medium transports pretty easy.
Well, yeah, and each one of the chickens that you kill, even though they only have 6 wounds, counts for a point, which is a big deal.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, it's a good one if you're going up against your monster vehicles. Assassinate, I always enjoy when the majority of my opponents take this one.
Oh, yeah, 'cause sometimes it's a trap. When people take it against my Dark Angels list, I'm like, all right, cool.
Yeah. So, I mean, that's Assassinate looks easy because, we have 3 points a character. You have 5 characters. I'm going to score 15 points.
Like I was mentioning previously, right? Like, if I feel like I'm going to win or I'm going to blow through their screen to get to their characters, Or if their characters have to engage me to be useful, then I'll take this. If people's characters are going to be on the back row, not doing anything but buffing units, I won't take this.
Mm-hmm. So we say like some of the AdMac characters that we're seeing now,
Yeah.
where they're basically hanging out in the back and buffing, don't take Assassinate against that
Yeah,
army.
I would say that's probably not a great choice unless you have like an amazingly fast army and you can just get back there and wreck them.
Mm-hmm.
Or B, you have some kind of character denial or snipers or psychic powers that can nail characters pretty easily.
Yeah. I'd say for this one, like I don't really take Purge the Enemy a whole awful lot. I'll take Bring It Down if I'm going up against vehicles.
I would say I take this a medium amount.
Yeah, it was a low amount for me.
Okay.
I like how we're changing the scoring structure for every section, by the way. This is my favorite
What was
part.
the first two?
Battlefield Supremacy is every game, pretty much.
Yeah, I would say a medium on Battlefield Supremacy, heavy on No Mercy, No Respite, like almost always.
I would say heavy Battlefield Supremacy, medium for No Mercy, No Respite.
Okay. Now, Shadow Operations, John.
Shadow Operations. Man, these have I haven't read the titles in like the longest time.
These are really cool.
I've been using the ITC Battles app, so
Yeah.
I just like boop, boop, boop.
Well, that's what I'm in reading these off of, actually. Right now. So we got Raise the Banners. This one's actually like a pretty good generic choice. So this one is you take an action, you raise a banner on an objective. The banner stays until the enemy recaptures the objective from you at the end of any phase.
Mm-hmm.
And at the end of your command phase, at the end of your command phase and at the end of the game, you get 1 victory point for each banner that you have up. So I take this one when I don't have any other good choices.
See, I've never really I haven't done a lot of the action ones because I don't like the idea of a unit not doing anything.
Sure.
Like, sure, they're scoring, but I need to kind of get out of the headspace that they're not doing anything. So yeah, I haven't really.
Maybe your army's not doing anything
because they're all like zombies or like cultists, so they can't do anything.
Well, yeah, but Space Marines and Necrons have stratagems to let them do stuff so they do actions. So.
Must be nice for you.
Yeah. Sorry, loser.
It's accurate, hurtfully accurate.
Man, investigate sites though. Wow, don't take that.
All right, let's because again, I'm not familiar here.
Yeah, right. There's a reason why you're not.
Score 3 victory points each time a unit from your army does the following: 1 infantry unit from your army can start to perform this action in your move
and these
phase.
all require infantry unit actions.
If it is within 6 inches of the center of the battlefield, no enemy units are within 6 inches of the center of the battlefield. This action is completed at the end of your turn. What? How are you supposed to stay in the middle of the table away from everyone for 5 turns?
I don't know, John. Just do it. Stop being.
And it's the start of your movement phase, so you can't even do it turn 1 unless you have some cool infiltrate ability.
Yep.
I don't understand that one.
Yeah, that one's pretty bad. I'm really excited. So they did preview the change to this one in the article that they released on Monday. And basically they said you can do it if there's enemy units within 6.
Oh, that makes it better.
But they can't, in order for the action to complete, they have to not be there anymore.
I like that.
Yeah, I think that's okay. At least it prevents the enemy from just like screwing you over by standing one dude within 6 every turn.
Oh, man. The old favorite, the early edition frontrunner for bestest secondary ever, deploy scramblers.
Oh, man.
And then people learn to just put a dude in a deployment zone.
I mean, I still see this get taken all the time.
Mm-hmm.
And it's really great against elite armies that don't have good screening because you can be in their deployment zone, no problem.
Yeah.
But that being said, I don't know. I see this one a lot still.
It's like what I don't like about it, it's all or nothing.
Yeah. If you don't do it, you're boned. And this one you have to take, just to reiterate what this is, you have to take 1 action in your deployment zone, 1 action 6 inches away from your deployment zone, and also 6 inches away from the enemy deployment zone, and then also 1 in the enemy deployment zone. And if you do that, you get 10 points.
So it's 3 turns
Mm-hmm.
to get this to happen. And there's some units that are like tailor-made for doing this. Like the new Taraxi from the AdMac book are great for this. And there's other things that are good for it.
Dark Eldar Scourge or Mandrakes. Basically any infantry unit that can deep strike and has small bases and like a really little footprint that's not a character. Because this one cannot be completed by characters.
Right. So maybe even, Lictor still deep strike?
Yep. They're a great choice for this.
Yeah.
So what you can do with lictors actually is you can deep strike them in the middle, have them do this action, and then they have a stratagem called Metabolic Overdrive where they can double the movement of a unit, and then just move the lictor 18 inches and do it in your opponent's deployment zone.
It's pretty nice.
Because they can just move 18 inches, like mostly ignoring terrain. Like, it's very powerful.
It's pretty spicy.
Yeah.
So yeah, real good for some lists. I said I think the mistake that was made towards the middle of the edition was it was good for all lists.
Yeah, agreed.
Where people kind of just latched on that people were taking deploy scramblers.
I'm putting this unit in strategic reserve to deploy scramblers. Well, let me tell you about that.
Are you though?
You're not going to get that.
Teleport Homer.
So, yeah, this one you have to do this like within 6 inches of the enemy's long board edge.
Okay.
And you do it oh wait, hold on. Teleport Homer. No, why don't you read this one? Maybe I don't remember what this is.
One infantry unit from your army can start to perform this action at the end of your movement phase if it is wholly within your opponent's deployment zone. The action is completed at the end of your next command phase, provided the units attempting it is still wholly within your opponent's deployment zone. So yeah, what you got to do is 1, let your opponent know you're taking Teleport Homer. 2, put a unit next to all of their units. Then 3,
have it live.
Survive.
Yeah.
Like the Halo Reach objective.
And so how many points do you get for doing this?
4 points each time.
Well, that's a lot of points, but it's very difficult to pull off.
Very difficult.
I would say this is maybe one of the worst one of the worst secondaries. Like, I would say it's better than most of the psychic ones, but worse than.
And we're gonna get to the
other
psychic ones in a second. Oh boy.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think like this one here, unless your opponent is so confident that he can beat you by 15 points, that you can just go ahead and teleport Homer.
Yeah.
It's real hard to do.
Yeah, agreed. Big agree.
Why would you want to teleport to the deployment zone anyway?
I don't know.
Terrible. Warpcraft. This is one I tried, like this section I try to make work so hard. And a lot of it just doesn't. One of them that was FAQ'd was Abhor the Witch.
It was.
Because it was all like in the original book, you got 5 victory points at the end of the battle for each enemy psyker, and 3 victory points for every other enemy psyker unit that was destroyed, letting demon player, Thousand Suns, and Grey Knights be like, the fuck?
Bro, why do you hate me so much?
Because it was an auto 15 points against those armies.
Because you're a goddamn witch, that's why. Anyway, like, and now I think what they changed it to, I think it was 3 points per psyker, 1 point for psyker unit.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's still really good. And the other caveat to this is you can't have any psychers in your army.
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
Yep. So
because you're boring, not adhering.
Yeah. Not a boring the non-you witches.
The
all witches.
The non-union.
You don't want to be a hypocrite.
No.
So this one's still okay. I think this is the best psychic secondary by a long shot if you can take it.
It is.
Like, or if it's good against those armies specifically.
Yeah. So yeah, going up against Grey Knights, if you don't have a psyker, then definitely that's a good one to go for. Mental interrogation is.
This is in my opinion, the best psychic action Warpcraft secondary.
That's a real low bar, but I'm willing to agree with you on that one.
So here's the deal. I hate secondaries that your opponent can just stop by being within 24 inches of you. That's garbage.
Yeah.
Like, your opponent can try and deny these, and if they do, then you just don't get to do it. So at least you get points when you do this one every turn.
I think psychic actions shouldn't be a psychic test.
Yeah. You should just have to like give up your psychic abilities.
You give up your psychic phase, make it like a regular action. But like you're right, yeah, it's only warp charge 4. The idea is you have one psychic character from your army. If there's within 18 inches of an enemy character, they try and do that little like, ooh, tell me the secrets.
I'm reading your mind.
But yeah, it can be denied by I deny the witch, and it also doesn't it take away all of your other psychic powers for that phase.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah. So it's 3 victory points each time you do it. It's progressive. So if you don't do it all 5 times, no big deal. But at the same time, it's 3 points that your opponent can deny. And to do that, you're giving up an awful lot of utility.
And it's not even that they have to deny you by being in position or killing your unit or anything like that. They just have to beat you on a 2d6 roll.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
No, fantastic. This is what let me submarine you at the tournament, Danny.
All right. So first of all, you took this.
I took Psychic
Of course
Ritual.
you did.
Yeah.
So
you score 15 victory points at the end of the battle if any unit from your army successfully completed the following psychic action 3 times. And it's just do a Warp Charge 3 action in the center of the battlefield.
3 times.
3 times.
Well, at least you only have to do it 3 times and not every turn.
Right. And so that's why I looked at it there, because like the list I was playing at, so it didn't seem to be anything else that like super stood out.
Yeah.
So I'm like, I'll give it a shot. We'll see how it goes. I got it off twice. But again, it feels bad when it's a 2d6 dice roll to get rid of it.
Yeah.
But I felt okay about it. It was kind of weird having to leave a psyker like hidden in the center of the table.
I've definitely seen people take it, especially when they have a ton of psychers.
Yeah. I mean, I feel it's even something you build to where maybe you have a psyker who has trash powers.
Sure.
Or like backup powers, right? So you have like double up. But I haven't taken it again since because it feels bad to lose 15 because some guy can roll a 10 when you rolled a 9.
Right. Yeah, I totally agree.
Yeah.
Garbage.
But it does let you submarine better players.
True.
It does. Proven.
Wait, did I just agree to that? No, I did not agree to that. Shut up, John. All right, so Pierce the Veil.
Yeah.
So this one this is the one I was thinking of with Teleport Homer.
Oh, okay. So
Yes.
this one's trash too.
Yeah.
Let me see. Score 8 victory points at the end of the battle. If one or more units, so it's only 8. Oh, wait, no.
No, you can get more.
Completed the following psychic action 2 times, 4 times. One psychic character from your army can attempt to perform a psychic action if it is within 6 inches of your opponent's battlefield edge and more than 6 inches from enemy models. So, in order to do this, you have to have a character in your opponent's deployment zone.
No, not necessarily.
It says
Battlefield edge.
Within 6 inches of your opponent's battlefield edge and more than 6 inches away from enemy models. Okay. So within 6 inches.
So like in the cleanse mission, the one that's the table corners.
Yeah.
This is the mission that you would take this in, right?
Yeah.
You are 24 inches away from your opponent's deployment edge. So you could, especially if you have a fast psyker, you could jump up on the first turn, or even move up on the first turn and kind of like just be as far away from their deployment zone as you possibly can, and then do the psychic action and not have anybody around you. Potentially, if your opponent doesn't go in that corner.
But then you're a fast-moving character out by your lonesome.
So ideally, you would escort him with like a rhino or some other kind of like infiltrating squad or something like that to give him some cover. But it's definitely doable.
Maybe even sort of one of the Primaris librarians.
Yeah, sure.
The stealthy Primaris, the Phobos librarian.
Yeah, the Phobos
right?
librarian. Yeah. Good on him. Because he could just start there.
Yeah. But again, it's something like a lot of these secondaries, and this was kind of like a turning point for me in this edition was for a lot of these, you have to build it into your list before you even show up on the day.
Right.
Like Pierce the Veil might be super good for Phobos Librarian because you can accompany him with a little Phobos squad so he can't be targeted, just sits and does his little actions and scores you 15 points. And if your opponent wants to divert everything to go him, great. Then that means they're not taking care of your other things.
Yep.
But you have to build to that. You can't show up in the day and be like, well, I got a Chaos Sorcerer with a jump pack. Guess I'll Pierce the Veil. And the same thing with like Deploy Scramblers and a couple of the different like raised banners and things. You really need to go in with a plan before the game.
Well, raised banners you can do with pretty much any infantry unit. As long as you have infantry, you can
There's the plan you need. You got to have infantry units. Thank you for agreeing with my point.
Okay. Well, okay. Yeah, fair enough.
Yeah.
And this is by no means exhaustive because remember, there are 9 other objectives as well for each of the missions.
Yeah, for sure. We're not going to go through all of those. Don't you worry about it. But we are going to leave things by talking about our favorite mission from the 2020 pack. And then our least favorite mission, I think
that's easy.
we can do together.
Yeah, for sure.
For sure. It's scouring.
Yeah, scouring is the worst mission.
Scouring
what
is
a
the worst
garbage mission.
Scouring real bad. Weird deploy. I mean, it's a combination of all things. Weird deployment zone.
Because this is the one where you have to deploy kind of in the middle of the table, but it's like hammer and anvil.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
So, or if you want, or if you like if you like this is my favorite. You deploy hamburger style.
It looks like a soccer field.
Yeah, it does. Or a basketball court.
Or a basketball court.
Yeah.
This is what I actually played against Taylor the other day.
Oh God. Yeah. What a garbage mission.
What a garbage mission.
And so it's 5 objectives.
Perfect. Love it. Lots of 5 objective missions.
Yeah, we like 5 objective missions. But have you ever heard of a 5 objective mission that's hold 2, hold 3?
Oh man, that's fine as long as there's an objective in my deployment zone.
Nope.
Oh nope. What? They're all within like 3
out.
inches. They're all within like 4 inches of each other in the center of the table.
Hey,
Love it.
It's gonna be a battle.
Yeah. So yeah, all of
Just
the
not a fun one.
all of the objectives are right beside each other.
Yeah.
There's only 5. It's hold 2, hold 3, hold more.
If you hold the middle, you win.
If you hold the middle and win.
Yep.
That's literally it. And just it's not great and it's not fun.
No.
Based off of that, and I think it's mainly how would you fix scouring outside of just deleting it?
I'm trying to think. I don't know. I would probably just start over from scratch. Like, I think it's fine to have the objectives close together. Like, that's okay.
Mm-hmm.
And they can be out of the deployment zone even, and the deployment zone is okay. But hold 2, hold 3 sucks for a 5 for a 5.
I was going to say
like
I would just change it to hold 1, hold 2.
Yeah, that's fine.
I'd probably change it to standard hammer and anvil too.
Yeah, I mean, I like that deployment zone a little bit. Like, the nice thing about it is, or if I did, I would make the deployment zone longer. Is it longer? Like, is it closer to the middle of the table?
Nope, it's a 28-inch no man's land.
Yeah, so it's even longer than a normal deployment zone.
Oh,
cool.
Yeah.
So yeah, I would increase it to be like not 18 inches away, but maybe
like 24-inch no man's.
No, I would make it shorter than 24. Maybe 18 is fine, and just make it like let's get crazy. Like, we're gonna get in the center of the board on the first turn. Everybody is.
Yeah, come on in. It's party time.
Yeah, I could see that being fun.
What a fucking mission though. Imagine bringing a gunline army to that. I've been like, yeah, all the objectives are in the center, and we can all get their turn 1. Jump in.
I hope you're good at shooting. Sucks that you brought a gun line. Actually, I don't feel bad for those people. Fuck those people.
What would you say would be your favorite mission you played?
Oh, my favorite mission is definitely Vital Intelligence.
Vital Intelligence.
It is. So the secondary objective is really cool, the data intercept, because you don't score it until your next command phase, but you get a point for each objective you control.
Oh.
And the objectives you don't lose control of an objective if your unit moves off of it. You get to control it until your enemy takes it away from you.
Let me tell you, I found that out when I was mid-game and went to scoring. He was like, yep, and I hold 4. And I'm like, dude, you're on one of those. And I'm like, yep, I did some Space Marine bullshit to zip my guys all over the board and tap them and then run away. And I'm like, oh, okay. But Jane goes to just reading the mission before you start playing.
Who was that?
It was Nate.
Oh, nice. That's pretty clutch.
Yeah. He zips Space Marines around.
Yeah, so that's dope. I love that shit. And then like the whole idea behind it, like the idea behind the mission is just cool because like you're supposed to be like securing a data terminal and like you're hacking the enemy, which is fun. I don't know. I just like the whole premise. Plus the deployment zone is cool because it's like it's at an angle. It's Vanguard.
Yeah.
Which we all used to hate, but now that they actually gave us measurements that aren't like dickish, like I really like them.
And now they gave us scouring deployment zones. I don't have to measure out a box. I'm all fine with a line.
You never put John in a box.
No one puts me in a box.
No one.
Not
even once has John been in a box.
I gotta say, I have a couple favorites.
Okay, cool. You have 2?
I have 2.
Oh, come on, that's cheating.
It is. Well, one of them's for a nice reason, but I think my main favorite one is Priority Target. It really pulls me back to earlier 40K when you did get to move the objectives about and place them.
Oh, I do like that part of Priority Targets.
And then just the secondary on it, and probably just for my playstyle is like an auto take. It's
the secondary is really easy.
And I really like things that are super easy because it really rewards stuff I'm doing anyway. And like, the Priority Target secondary is like, if you were playing to the primary mission, you will score the secondary anyway.
It's true. It's true.
So it's a super great one. And then the other one I really like is Overrun.
Okay.
Mainly because I think that's the mission I've played the most over the last year.
Really?
Danny, which mission do we always roll?
We don't always play Overrun, do we?
We've played Overrun 4 times.
No way.
We have. We keep rolling it.
Oh, weird. The secondary on that one is garbage.
It's a garbage mission, but yeah, it's a 6 objective, hold 2, hold 3, which is how hold 3 should be a 6 objective mission.
Yeah.
And like I said, I just enjoy it because I have many like fond memories of rolling 2 dice and being like, God damn it, again. But we're the kind of people who are like, no, we will not reroll. We will let the fates decide. And also it's a short Dawn of War.
I like
or
that.
regular Dawn of War, so it's 24 inches.
It's just regular Dawn of War, yeah.
So a little baby deployment zones. And I think that was the first time, I think Overrun was the first game of 9th I played with this pack. And just...
We played Vital Intelligence first, I think.
Do we play Vital Intelligence? Well, I think...
Because we played that with with the Necrons, and like I remember I had this unit of 3 Scarabs that kept jumping back and forth on this objective and annoying the shit out of you.
Oh,
Do you remember that?
Yeah, I remember. Thank you for letting me know. But I think Overrun for me like was the first time I was looking at the table and realizing the new board size.
Oh, sure.
Because it's kind of like your standard Dawn of War map, but with the same 24-inch deployment zone, which means that your deployment zone is only like 10 inches thick.
Yep.
Which is only 2 inches less than before, but it's shocking like how much stuff I can fit in there.
Well, as you know, your mom knows.
For sure.
2 inches over 10 feet is a lot of inches.
What?
From me.
Why do you have 8 extra feet?
No. I mean, I'm
Why are you
giving that
rubbing your
many.
penis over there?
I'm giving that many feet. Like, I don't know. Never mind. You know what?
Wait,
it's
so-
a lot of strokes.
Oh, it's combined
over a large to make a large distance.
So that's like 6.
Was my analogy bad? It probably was bad.
So that's like 60 foot. So that would only be like 60 strokes.
Sure.
So that would be like if you're
60 inches, so it's 30 strokes.
So
Of 2 inches.
Yeah, so 30 strokes.
Yeah.
So at a standard
Under a minute.
At a standard pace, you're done in like 20 seconds.
Yeah, dude.
Flat.
I'm efficient.
I gotta say, overall, I enjoyed the Grand Tournament Pack 2020 a lot.
Me too.
In
I thought it
retrospect.
was so. I thought relatively it was very good, but I think it really started to suffer towards like the middle, where the secondary objectives were too defined. Like it was too easy to determine what people were going to take, and like there was no surprises of secondaries.
Right.
It was just like these are the ones that are good. These are the ones that are bad. There's no in between.
Like when we would pull our list out, I could look at your stuff and be like, oh yeah, of course you're taking that.
Right.
And then like, especially if you're building list towards things, it's very obvious what you're going to take. I think coming from our sort of ITC playing background, playing in the ITC for the last 6-7 years.
Right.
It was a really refreshing rules pack. I have to say, coming from 3-4 years of kill one, kill more, hold one, hold more. It was really refreshing to have objectives that weren't just kill this, stand here.
Right.
So like I enjoyed that part, but I think towards the end it did start showing its age a little bit.
For sure.
And I think, like I said, maybe it was delayed a little bit for the 2021 one. Maybe it wasn't. But I'm excited to see at the same time as everyone else.
Yeah, me too. I can't wait to see
2021. And that's kind of why I wanted to kind of touch on this here. Be like, where we've been, where we're going. Because we already know Engage in All Fronts, I believe, is changing.
Or I think it's Scramblers is changing.
Scramblers is changing to a progressive, so it's not all or nothing anymore.
Yeah, and it'll be more table quarters than deployment zones.
Right, which is perfect. So it certainly looks like they're listening to that feedback. We'll probably have a rundown of that book. Because as much as we're excited for the points coming,
I'm more excited
for those
about
points.
I'm more excited about the missions though.
I'm more excited about the missions because what I bring doesn't win a game,
Yeah.
as I've clearly demonstrated
How I use it.
over many times.
Okay.
Sure, whatever.
Whatever you say.
Get it out of our system. Fuck. Shit. Fuck.
Piss on a shit. They they call that the sawmill where I'm from, John.
Oh yeah. We'll take our last quick break, and we'll be right back. Yo, dog, what's up? It's the M to the A to the GOS, here to surprise your boy, Jerry Annis. Haha, he has no idea. We about to pimp his night.
Hi, I'm Jerry. I'm 22 years old, and my night is a little worse for wear. It got handed down through several generations of my family. You see, we've been protecting the citizens of this world for centuries now. It's gonna get a lot harder to keep the village folks safe now, though, with the outdated gun. I mean, I don't even have a carpet gun. It's tough. Worst of all, my father was very angry at my mother during the body ceremony, so she left him for a funeral. Those emotions remain. At my own bonding, I felt pretty confused by the feelings I was having, and to be honest with you, I can't look at my mother the same way again. We used to be close, but now the night has ruined.
Yo, it's your boy, the Megos.
Imperial Might, is this real? Holy shit.
Yo, it's real, Jerry. Now give me your keys. We're gonna pimp your night. Let's go to West Sector Customs.
It's actually nearly bonded to me.
Let's bring West Sector Customs here. All right, yo. So, check it. Our boy Jerry here needs a fly night so he can keep on representing his family and protecting the small folk from Xenos invasion, alright? So, weapons. What you got, priest?
So what Jerry got here is a stock 33 Millennium Knight Paladin with a broken heavy stubble and a battle can that battle cannot. What I'm going to do is drop the Reaper Chainsaw low to the ground so that when the small folks go cruising by, they know who's the boss.
Nice.
Then we're going to take the heavy stubble out and we're going to put in a holographic projector that constantly projects the image of his mom's in front of the knight at all times and get your boy's rage up.
All the better to smite the enemies of the Emperor with.
Exactly. And as for the battle cannon, we got to modify it so instead of firing bullets, it's going to fire beats. 36,000 decibels of sick beats dropping out that speaker.
Word. All right. What are we doing with that machine spirit IT guy?
Jerry's night is slow to respond and hasn't had an update in years, so we're going to do what we do best.
Preach it.
Turn it off and then on again. Should speed up the reaction time.
All right, boy. Paint. What are we doing?
Jerry's night represents the color of the house and family, and it's important that we respect the traditions and heritage.
I asked paint. What are we doing?
Like green.
Sounds tight, all right? Let's get to work. Yo, Jerry, we've been working hard on your night, and he is ready. Are you?
So ready. We have an incoming orc invasion. I must protect my world.
All right, here is the curtain, and here is your night.
What have you done? Why is the Reaper so low? Why are my hairs bleeding, and why is it green?
Well, we out, yo. You officially been pinned. Ah.
Why is my mother 30 feet tall in front of me?
I'm glad I left that laughter in at the end there because that was the only person. Thanks to our Patreon who requested that we play that ad.
It's a classic.
It's classic. It is. It is. Got to get it out of our system. You got to get all
true.
these ads out there.
I know.
One thing we didn't touch on. Fallen and how good. No, I'm kidding. Their shit. Is Warhammer Plus?
Yeah, the streaming service.
The streaming service. Following it is Warhammer Plus, right?
Yeah, no, that's correct.
God, I hate this fucking naming the thing streaming services are doing now.
Are they all just going to be whatever plus?
I'll have you know, I currently subscribe to Paramount Plus. Disney Plus. There's going to be a Warhammer Plus.
Why
here.
Paramount Plus? Can I ask that question?
So Paramount Plus has a surprisingly large amount of Japanese and Chinese martial arts movies from the 70s.
Oh, cool. Okay. Right on. I like those movies.
As well as SpongeBob.
Man, like, Give me Master of the Flying Guillotine like any day. I love that movie so much.
Yeah. So there's not as much on Paramount Plus right now, but there is a surprising amount of kung fu.
Cool. Yeah, I love kung fu movies.
I originally got it for Frasier.
How did that go? How did your Frasier experiment go?
Oh, I saw. Okay, my wife and I got distracted by Buffy. We've got she'd never watched Buffy before.
Oh, and that's on Paramount Plus, right?
That is on Amazon Prime, which
Oh,
I
really?
also subscribe to.
Yeah, we have that one.
But yeah, no, she'd never watched Buffy before, so we started watching season 1, and we're actually going to do it the way it was intended, where when Angel starts,
Missionary.
we're gonna during Missionary, when Angel starts, we're gonna boot between the episodes in the proper chronological order.
Cool.
It was really neat seeing her reaction to him turning evil after they bone, because
right.
All men are evil after taking women's purity.
It's true.
And then
I thought it was the other way around.
She
She
sucked his soul.
Yeah, she took his. Yeah.
But Warhammer Plus coming mid-July as a streaming service,
Probably with a lot less sex, and that's cool.
video on demand.
Yeah.
And honestly,
I'll probably buy it.
I'm a fan.
Yeah.
I don't think it's going to be a $10 a month subscription.
No, I hope not.
It's going to be $5. I can see it being a $5 subscription.
Yeah.
But the reason I'm a fan is it leaves a lot of control with GW. And I'm imagining they probably approached a lot of different streaming services. I'm like, hey, we have this. And
So I'm pretty surprised by this, to be honest with you, that they're doing their own thing. I figured they would do something on Amazon, because that's what Eisenhorn is going to be on.
So let me tell you a little story, a little side.
Okay, yeah, tell me a story.
Weave
John.
you a tale. I'm a large professional wrestling fan.
Okay.
This might be known to people. I've been subscribed to the WWE Network since day one, which is 5-6 years now.
Oh wow.
Recently, WWE sold their network to NBC.
Really?
And it is now only available via the
On
Peacock.
Peacock? Yeah.
As a way to drive business towards there.
Okay.
So there's something to be said about building up your brand and then selling it. So
Yeah, I could see that. That's fair.
I would be very surprised
if it stayed
if
that way.
Warhammer Plus is a permanent thing. I can see it as a 2-3 year thing before selling the assets, because you know what? There's 80,000 streaming services right now, and they're all thirsty for content.
Right.
So they will pay big dollars for content and an inbuilt audience. So I would see it as a leverage tool more than a real streaming service.
That's cool, and they're always interested in selling their IP. So.
Oh yeah, for sure. And my only worry is I hope they're partnering with someone really good for the back end stuff.
Yeah.
Because if too many people try and watch the Death and Robots ripoff they're doing at the same time on launch day and the whole site crashes.
Ooh, that's going to be bad. There's going to get a lot of unsubscribers.
We won't be able to cover the saltiness that comes from that.
Well, God, and they have had so many like
that's my big concern on it.
I don't know why. I don't know what they're in GW, please don't take this the wrong way. I don't know what the ineptitude is with the digital stuff, because it really feels strong in a lot of ways. Warhammer Community is a great website and a great way to dispense GW news. But I would say that's really the only thing digitally that they're doing super well.
So I'll add to that.
Oh, I guess Azir is pretty good.
Azir is a top tier army building software, which is the Age of Sigmar army builder. Which when I heard 40K was getting an army builder,
I was
I'm like,
super excited.
Oh my god, sweet, Azir is amazing.
Yes.
Which I should probably cancel my subscription to that because I haven't played AOS in 2 years.
Yeah.
But I would say their Facebook page they use.
Oh, it's pretty good. Yeah,
it's pretty good.
Facebook is pretty good.
Their social media presence is really good.
Yeah, okay, I would agree with that. Their social media is pretty dope.
Their YouTube videos, they've just kind of
when they do the comical, farcical ones, I think they do a really good job.
Yeah, and their painting tutorials are super good. They're back up to 3.
Do they still do that?
Yep, they're back up to 3 studio painters right now. I think they've been doing a lot of hanging paints just because COVID rules in the UK have stopped it.
Oh, okay.
But they have Peachy. They have who's the former community guy that they had there?
Dude, I have no idea.
Oh my gosh, no. And then they just one of the Forge World artists, the girl.
Oh yeah, the girl. She's amazing.
She's like her, like she did like ultraviolet light goblin or demons, so it looked different under a black light.
Yeah, those were just super cool.
Like a lot of cool. So like they have the right people in place.
Yeah.
Nick Baden.
Oh yeah,
That's
Nick
the
Baden's
third guy.
good.
Yeah. So they have the right people in place, and they have these great things. I think. Yes, they're a multi-million-dollar company. Yes, they're growing exponentially. But they're still learning a lot of this stuff.
Yeah, I think
they go.
I think there's some definite pitfalls that they can avoid in the future.
And I think there's a lot of it is we have to do this before someone else does it.
Yeah.
And then just trying to rush that production speed is really.
So I agree with that to a point. I think that a lot of this stuff has been done already, though. So like they're not going to be first to market. So they need to like maintain like good business advantage. They need to make sure that they're offering a superior product.
All I know is that Louise Sugden. That's the Forge World girl.
Yeah, she's hired. Yeah.
As long as they let her keep making those old world maps,
dude.
Like cool. I love that she's getting to share a talent in the Warhammer community. But she better keep making those old world maps because those maps are
they're dope,
freaking amazing.
Yeah.
But yeah, Warhammer Plus coming. More free content for us to review because we're going to sit and talk about it. I'm excited.
Yeah, me too. I like look, I am a sucker for anything Games Workshop makes, basically. So
Heck yeah.
I'll probably buy it regardless of what it is. Because again, sucker.
Big Sam, I tell my wife I have to because I have a podcast and that doesn't pay the bills.
Can we write it off as a business expense?
I mean, technically, I think I didn't get our business license re-up because it was like, why are we even doing this?
Yeah.
But technically, I would have to have you as an employee and do payroll tax and stuff, though. In that sense, yeah.
What are you paying me? Jeez.
Don't worry about it.
No, I know exactly what it is. The free codexes that we get.
Yeah. I pay you and me doing the editing now.
Oh, there you go. Yeah, fair enough.
Yeah, I think after this has been a real laid back, relaxed episode this time. A little bit just of a retrospective. Next week when we come back in 2 weeks.
When we come back
in 2 weeks, we'll hopefully have something really exciting to talk about.
I know, I'm very excited.
Where we'll probably go over some of the points changes and how it changes lists we're looking at. I know I will be in depth as I try and stick with Death Guard. Danny might be able to tell you which one of the 15 factions he plays he's most excited for the points drops on.
Yeah, probably Eldar or Necrons, but you know.
And then maybe we'll even bring someone on to say, hey,
that'd be sick.
Yeah, maybe we'll drag Val out of Eastern Canada,
out of his cave
in
Montreal, or I don't know, Toronto. I think he lives in Toronto.
There's like 2 Canadian.
Who knows?
Cities.
Those are the 2 cities. That's it. Val, you're probably from one of them. Who knows?
Yeah.
There's at least 20 people that live there, and that makes it a real Canada like social epicenter.
London, Eastern Canada. Who knows?
That's in Ontario.
Yeah. That's right, it is.
I know that for some reason.
Because that's where you met Val.
I've never been there, but I know that. I knew that one.
Beautiful. Daddy, anything else you want to say before we sign off?
No, man. Hey, you know what?
Yeah.
A Rogue Trader Network.
Oh, yeah.
It's a little smaller right now.
It's a little sad. We found out today Dangly Boys were ceasing production. So
High Lords are on extended hiatus.
And then Z40 Shabal is
they're pumping.
They started pumping out again.
Yeah.
So yeah, they're still going. So just us two.
Yep. Yeah.
All I want to say is, Seth, we survived longer.
Yeah.
Nah. But no, we definitely, if you want to follow up with Seth has Seth the Mad Dog YouTube channel, which
check
is
him out.
Solely orc focused, but has so much good advice.
Unlike
hints.
this podcast named
which
Mob
is
Rules.
terrible. Yeah, this is just awful. Longevity does not a good time make. And then for the High Lords of Terror, Michael Tempe.
Oh man, is he making an awesome Kickstarter?
Is he making he's made an awesome Kickstarter.
You guys should check it out. It's called The Outward Realms. It's a new game that he's designed. It has really cool models, has great rules. I'm very excited for the future of that game. Both John and I pledged to get into this at the entry level. And you guys should take a look and see if it's good for you too. I think that it probably will be if you like miniature games and well-designed rules.
Yes. Yeah, it's really good. He was very upset when I made a joke that someone would complain there was a spelling error on page 76 of his rulebook. And he was like, there's no page 76, John. I'm like, okay. I was trying to make a joke, but cool.
He knows exactly how many pages in his rulebook. That's pretty good.
It's a pretty good thing.
I mean, he wrote them all, so
well, then you would hope. But yeah, as of times there, 30,000 pledged on a goal of 5, so it's definitely being backed.
Heck yeah, that's awesome.
If you like space frogs, punching armored soldiers on Scooty Puff seniors,
yep,
this is the game for you.
It is. It's like hard sci-fi. It's got a really cool backstory. The website has a ton of great articles about the background, so check those out if you're interested in it.
Outwardrealms.com.
Yep.
And if you're not interested, buy a rule book. It's $50. Don't be cheap.
Don't bitch out.
That's a direct quote from
pussy.
Michael Tempe.
Yeah, Michael Tempe told me to tell you. He didn't, guys. He was really supportive.
He's like the nicest person.
Yeah,
He
no
in no
kidding.
way said that. But he did.
And unlike Seth, he's never open hand slapped an eagle. So
the name of this episode is just Inside References.
okay.
I think that's all that matters.
Anyway, thanks for joining us.
Yeah,
guys.
for Mob Rules, I've been John.
I've been Danny.
And we'll maybe come back.
Yeah.